Okay, here we go. So I wanted to come on and make a video today. Uh, I'm gonna try to make more videos on this channel. I'm gonna try to use it more. I get a joy out of doing this, and it helps me to, just to be able to reach one or two people is so exciting with something new that maybe you didn't see before. So I'm gonna try to keep these videos short, to the point, and not a lot of fluff. So we're gonna kind of move a little bit faster. And a lot of my content is for people that are kind of already down this path. But I'll do the best job I can to explain, and we'll go from there. So I woke up today and discovered a Twitter feud going on with Mr. Austin Steinbart, who's been my recent fascination. I've watched all this guy's videos a couple times. I made a video about it, and he's going at Jordan Sather pretty hard. So looks like Jordan Sather came out with a tweet that said, "Be on the lookout for LARPs coming in and trying to act like big shot insiders with access to secret intelligence during Q's downtimes like this. I'm noticing a few that are popping up. They have hordes of paid shills on the internet to distract and confuse you with." And then Austin Steinbart comes back, jumps on this guy's post and says, "Be on the lookout for ignorant Q hoarders who have zero inside knowledge whatsoever and pout like little egotistical babies when someone who actually knows what they're talking about steps onto the scene." Thumbs down. I love this guy, but he doesn't know SH and should shut his mouth. Wow. Now that was pretty hardcore when I read that. It's like, whoa. Then you got this coming out, FYI, 8 hours ago. "I really don't care what anybody thinks about my story. I have thousands of pics, videos, and docs to back up every claim I'll make, and I will be the new commander of the Space Force very soon, whether the haters like it or not. Big fat LOL, it's all the silly gooses writing me off because of this picture with John McCain. Awfully hard to credibly accuse someone of high crimes if you've never even met them. Using a cover to cohort with nefarious characters is spying 101. Come on, people." So Austin was, masquerading as a teenager here, or a schoolboy or something, right? But yeah, it's true. I mean, if you're going to get these people, you got to get close to them. You can't be, always hiding in the shadows, right? So it's not uncommon that the good guys will go in and work, side by side with these people, right? So then he most recently posted this, and actually, no, I realize this is a pinned tweet. This is a pinned tweet. Never mind. So this guy's really interesting to me. You listen to his videos; they're very. He's talking really fast. He's got the lingo, and kind of when I started to listen to his videos, I started to hear him speaking the way that you'd speak to an upper level, maybe like a commander or somebody, a superior officer, how he would brief somebody. He's briefing us like the way he briefs his, whoever he's working with, right? Whoever's, he's talking to, whoever he's taking orders from, right? He said he's working with the DIA and in these groups. So, he's obviously got to be disseminating this information. So, and then today I noticed, I saw a couple things. I noticed that Wilcox starting to jump on board with them. So I was looking at that, and I like David Wilcock. Obviously, I mean he's a very interesting guy. Um, he had a tweet here today where he kind of said, "I think he's the real deal." Um, yeah, here you go. There are a number of things he has said that I was either not aware of or had not made public, and were not public as far as I know. His knowledge of the DIA, for example, is extremely consistent with material I have not shared. So Corey Good is retweeting this guy. Some of the guys from Edge of Wonder, I think Rob was talking to him today. So he's already he came out of nowhere, and he's starting to get a lot of interest. So I'm going to keep an eye on this guy. I'm dying for more videos. I can't wait to see what else he's got to say. So far, I think I've watched every minute of his content. So let's keep an eye on this guy. Let's see what he's got to say. Now, obviously, I mean, one way to irrefutable type of thing here would be a Q proof, right? I mean, he could get that done if he's on the team. Then I don't see why he couldn't easily get a you get something going on there to do a cube proof, right? That would put haters to bed right there. So we'll see what happens. But even either way, interesting guy. I think he's gonna be a good YouTube star person. He'll do something good, at least. But I think more likely than not, he is the real deal. And he's saying he's going to become commander of the Space Force. I mean, God damn, that's a pretty big thing to say. So we'll have to wait and see. So everybody knows that today was a big downward spiral in the stock market, and not just that, but cryptos were down. You got Bitcoin over here, taking a big dump, 13. But I think Bitcoin fell from about 9,000 yesterday down to 8,000. It hit lower than that. A lot of the cryptos going down here, and then let's check out gold and silver. Gold to USD was not off that much today, holding pretty steady. You got the Kitco pricing here. I'm going to say something on this channel that I don't know if anybody's said this yet, but the whole time, I've watched all these guys come out and talk about gold and silver, right? Gold and silver. Oh my God, gotta buy your silver. Silver is the most undervalued, this and that and the other thing. How come none of these truther channels have been talking about palladium? I mean, Jesus, look at this. Why was I not being, force fed palladium, 2 years ago? I mean, palladium, man. How do I do this chart? 4 hours, 1 month. It's not good enough, but okay. Well, here you go. So palladium in the last couple, in the era of Trump here, started off at around under $800, and it's been rocketing upward. Look at this. Now, I still think gold and silver are great, right? I'm not against those things. I think silver could definitely be undervalued. But I mean, it is so far not performing like palladium. I mean, we all know, we had a nice little pop on gold. But I mean, come on, palladium is where it's at, man. It's probably too late now, but I don't think I ever saw one video or one blog or one, like woke financial guy that's saying, oh, everything's going to crash, get into metals, that ever talked about palladium. It's almost like they were misleading us the whole time. So I'm just kind of shocked by that. Didn't hear much about palladium. So checking out the Schumann resonance here, and it looks like we've had some nice little bursts today. I started to notice something. I listen to a lot of these mostly female channelers and spiritual guides on on YouTube and other places that say that they can feel these waves coming in, these frequencies. And I have started to notice that I will get this kind of like a pitch change in my ear at certain times of the day, and I've not gone and like try to correlate that to the Schumann resonance or anything, but I'm starting to notice more of that. So I did notice that a couple times a day now. I get this kind of fluctuation. It feels like a pitch change kind of going on, and it's kind of interesting. So I don't know if I'm becoming more sensitive to it, but I try to be, I'm a big proponent of like metaphysical type stuff, and I'm trying to become more intuitive and more more receptive to those types of energies than maybe I was in the past. So keep an eye on this. I've studied it for a while, and it's definitely an interesting thing to check out. How that it makes a lot of sense, right? The energetics of the earth are changing, the frequencies are rising, and as the frequencies rise, as they vibrate higher, the things that inhabit the earth start to vibrate higher, right? So that's a very simple, very narrow explanation of what the Great Awakening is, right? So another thing I cannot stress enough that will, if you're on the path, and you have to check this out, I will show you a quick clip of this, is the information that came to light from, I believe his name was Bill Wood, Project Looking Glass, which was on Project Camelot, which is the where it first aired at. And this guy has some fascinating content. I'm going to play one little clip of it.
Some inevitable things that you guys won't tell me about, so I can't help you.
But it's what you're basically, you came back with was, it is inevitable, whatever it is.
There is an inevitable event. It's been forecast, it's been predicted, it's been fed to us in a slop trough of what they want us to believe will happen.
But they don't
however, they don't actually have control over what happens. They only have control over the reaction, and it seems that no matter what they try to do to cause their desired reaction, it's going to have an opposite effect.
Interesting.
Now, it's much, much easier for me to explain today what that process is as opposed to back then. But if I had to give it a name, I would say it's the awakening process. It's an evolution of consciousness that cannot, will not, and no matter what decisions or possibilities are injected into the equation, eventually it all resolves down to us all learning the truth and becoming aware of this massive dam of lies that has been built that keep us from knowing massive volume of information that we should otherwise possess. Two master chess players sitting at the board, and one of them looks down at the board and sees that he's in checkmate in 7 moves. And he looks across at his opponent, and he knows that his opponent sees it too, so there's no getting out of it. So at this point, the loser can only prolong the game. The game, both players know the game is over. It's only a matter of time before he does this, and then you're forced to do this, and then he's forced to do this, and eventually checkmate. We, as a race, if we could understand that the game is over, that based on the rules of the game, the bad guys have already lost, the good guys have already won. Yes, there's moves left on the table, but those moves are being forced by the player that is going to win.
Boom, boom, boom. That's what a boom is. So this is something that, one of the Q drops brought into many people's consciousness. Now, of course, I'm sure a lot of people are already aware of this. This guy is a military, I believe, naval whistleblower. Talks a lot about the beginning of this interview is about 2 hours of Tomahawk missiles, and kind of explains what he was doing out hitting soft targets in Iraq, and very interesting things there. Talks about how when the Pentagon got hit, it looks a lot like the flight path of a Tomahawk versus a plane, right? And then maybe it was disguised, so many people say. And then the last 45 minutes of this thing is just earth-shattering to me, because I'll admit, I had heard about this, and I knew that there was a Project Looking Glass, but I didn't watch this video until a few months ago. And man, it was just like, it all just lines up. It's all making sense. All this esoteric stuff you read on the internet, a channel, somebody claiming to channel a Pleiadian or something, and then you watch this, and then you catch a little bit of Q, and then, you do your own thing. And, when you put it all together, you're like, this is all going somewhere really cool, and it's, the master chess player analogy just was, just such an amazing thing to hear, and it was a great way of explaining it. I've actually, started to use that to explain it to people, when we're going through these challenging times, we have won the game, right? It's just we have to play it out. But it's like that's what we're doing. It's one move is forcing another move. So I'll kind of summarize all this, this random rambling kind of thing I'm doing here, and bring it all to light with leave you with this thought, and it's that I've been watching this, the CV19 thing pretty close, right? I mean, I'm probably not as close as some people I know, but I think a lot of the people that are connected to the mainstream are just seeing the fear. They're seeing the there's a case here, there's a case there. To me, it doesn't look. I know about it. It could potentially be maybe a bioweapon and yada yada, right? We know all that stuff. We've heard all that stuff, or we come into those concepts. But I'm starting to go down the path of, is this, maybe it wasn't intended to begin this way, but is this now a white hat operation? Okay, because now I'm noticing that a lot of people that are suspicious, that I would suspect could be in those 150,000 sealed indictments, are starting to come in contact with it. And I mean, again, pure speculation here. You got the Pope, right? He's ill right now. You got Congress is coming in contact with it. Not saying everybody in Congress is necessarily going to go down in this thing, but it maybe this is like this is an exit for some people, that they have an option. They've been given an option, like, look, you've got a sealed indictment. We're going to take you out one way or another. If you wait too long, then you're going to be on court TV being tried at Guantanamo. So you can choose to die of this, something like along those lines, right? You got Jamie Dimon going to the hospital the other day. It's now been guys in Iran, top brass in Iran perishing from it. Something going on in Italy with it. I don't have any direct evidence of this, but I'm starting to research the path of, is this a white hat operation? Then you got, on top of that, you got the financial system collapsing, which everybody who's anybody says, if we're going to go to this new paradigm, we have to do away with the old system. Right now, I know that there's two schools of thought on that. Some people say, well, no, if you crash the system, then they're going to bring in the new world order, mark of the beast, and we're all going to be buying and selling like that. I'm kind of trying to figure that one out, because it's so complicated. Like, is it the good guys crashing the system? Is the bad guys crashing the system? How it's some sort of economic war is being fought here. Obviously, I mean, we all know about derivatives and about how the market was inflated and pumped up with all this easy money, and that sooner or later it was going to burst. And regardless of our viewpoint on this, we have to agree that the coronavirus, that I'm not supposed to say that on Gestapo tube here, but basically this thing can be used to blame almost anything on. So if next thing you know, defense contractors and airlines and whatever organizations are suddenly belly up, begging for capital from the Federal Reserve or something, that they can all blame it on this. So it's a great way to a great get out of jail free card for any major corporation to mask all their unsavory business dealings, right? So it's a great way to get out of that. So I'm not sure if this is going to be one of those things. Now, if you were to ask me 3 months ago, I would have said, no, I think this is all going to kind of hold together until after the election. That's when, like when I talk to people, and they ask me what I thought, I say, I think that 2021 is more like when I could see something like this happening. But maybe the timeline has been accelerated now. Maybe maybe the moves were made, and this. I mean, I guess this whole thing could from the beginning be a white hat operation. But I mean, people are dying, or we were supposed to. They're saying 4,000 people are dead so far, and more to come. So I mean, I don't think they would do that. But if maybe they hijacked it, maybe it was going to be bad. There could be forces at play here that we're not aware of, right? There could be things happening that, ways that they're combating the virus with frequencies, with, light-based technologies that have minimized the damage, and now they're using the fallout to create, to take people out. I mean, think about what you can do when you're controlling a pandemic, and nobody will consider that to be a violation of their rights. You can put people in quarantine. You can shut anything down. Okay, it's basically like declaring martial law, but not having to actually declare martial law. You can just go into anywhere you want. You can shut it down. You can quarantine it. You can hold people hostage for their own safety. So if you were gonna take out like 200,000, 300,000 people that were really bad people, this would be a great way to do it. So think about, let's turn that, like we were talking about in the last video. We're going to take all this negative energy, and we're going to transmute it into all positive energy. And so I'd like to think of it as a white hat takedown. I'm sure a lot of people are looking at it as something else, but I'm not fearful. I'm raising my vibration. I'm eating healthy. I'm taking supplements, vitamin C, chaga mushroom, C60, CBD. Getting the vibration up, and I'm telling you, once you get to that certain level, the dis-ease cannot enter your body. It just cannot survive in there. It's like, it's just impossible. So there's lots of other ways to do that too, but those are just a few. And do not fear. Don't be in fear. There's no faster way to lower your vibration than to be in fear. So I think I'm gonna leave it there. I think that was a good, short and to the point video. I really enjoyed hanging out and doing this, and I will be back. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.